The rap world is buzzing, and this time it's not about a new album or a surprise collaboration. Fans and insiders were left stunned after shocking revelations surfaced regarding Drake and 21 Savage's latest release. According to multiple sources and leaked analytics, the duo allegedly attempted to manipulate streaming numbers using bots in an effort to boost their song's performance. But the plan didn't go as smoothly as expected. While top-tier artists often face intense pressure to dominate charts and secure critical milestones, few imagined that two of the biggest names in the game would resort to such a controversial tactic, and that the attempt would still backfire in such a spectacular fashion. Reports suggest that this wasn't just a small-scale effort. The supposed bot activity involved thousands of automated accounts streaming the song repeatedly to inflate numbers on platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Fans on social media began noticing irregularities almost immediately, suspicious spikes in streams, accounts with minimal activity suddenly showing repeated plays, and strange patterns that didn't align with normal listener behavior. Within hours, several independent analytics teams flagged the streams as highly likely to be bot-driven. Conversations ignited across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram as fans debated the ethics of artificially inflating numbers, even for artists of Drake and 21 Savage's caliber, adding fuel to the fire. Insiders claim that the failed bot campaign didn't just fail to boost the song, it may have actually hindered its performance. Algorithms on streaming platforms quickly identified unusual activity, leading to temporary restrictions and adjustments in chart placements. Critics and fans alike began dissecting the song's performance metrics, questioning whether the push for streaming dominance had undermined its organic reach. The backlash was immediate, with trending hashtags like #Drake to one bot fail and #Streamskate taking over social media feeds. What should have been a celebration of two rap icons dominating the charts instead became a cautionary tale about the limits of. The controversy has ignited debates about authenticity in the music industry. Are top artists under so much pressure to perform that they resort to extreme tactics? What does it say about the state of streaming platforms when even industry giants allegedly feel the need to cheat the system? Fans, analysts, and even rival artists are weighing in, making this one of the hottest topics in hip-hop today, even as Drake and 21 Savage maintain their star power. This incident has cast a shadow over their latest release, proving that no matter how big the name, no one is immune from scrutiny, and sometimes attempts to cheat the system can backfire in the most public way possible. The music industry thrives on numbers, streams, and viral hits, but every so often, even the biggest names find themselves under the microscope for the wrong reasons. Drake and 21 Savage, two of the most influential artists in hip-hop today, recently found themselves embroiled in a storm that nobody saw coming. The drama centers around their latest release, a track that was expected to dominate charts, break streaming records, and cement their positions as industry titans. However, behind the scenes, reports surfaced suggesting that both artists allegedly attempted to manipulate streaming numbers using automated bot accounts. The plan, according to insiders, was to artificially inflate streams to secure top chart positions and maximize the song's visibility on major platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. But the results were far from what anyone expected. Sources close to the situation claim that thousands of fake accounts were allegedly used to repeatedly stream the track. While large-scale botting is not unheard of in the industry, the scale and sophistication allegedly involved in this operation drew immediate attention. Fans, influencers, and independent analysts began noticing irregular patterns in the song's metrics almost as soon as it dropped. Unusual spikes in streams occurred at odd hours. Listener accounts showed suspiciously repetitive activity, and engagement metrics like playlist additions and shares did not match the apparent number of plays. Social media users immediately began posting screenshots highlighting anomalies. Artists had orchestrated a bot-driven campaign. The backlash intensified when analytics platforms specializing in tracking music trends released reports, suggesting that the spikes were not organic. According to these reports, while the song initially showed signs of gaining traction, the patterns of plays indicated automated activity inconsistent with human listening behavior. Fans who follow streaming charts closely noticed that certain accounts with minimal profiles were repeatedly streaming the song, sometimes hundreds of times, within an impossibly short time frame. Many argued that it was a blatant attempt to cheat the system, while others speculated it might have been a marketing experiment gone wrong. Either way, the revelation painted a controversial picture for artists, who usually enjoy unquestioned credibility. Even more surprising, the alleged botting may have had a negative impact on the song's overall performance. And algorithms flagged the activity, potentially restricting the song's reach. Chart positions that were expected to rise dramatically instead plateaued, leaving fans frustrated and confused. Online debates raged, with fans analyzing hourly streaming numbers, dissecting metrics, and speculating on the extent of the manipulation. Some suggested that this incident could spark a broader discussion about fairness, authenticity, and the pressures that major artists face in today's streaming-driven music landscape. Insiders also revealed that the operation was reportedly coordinated with extreme caution. But the failure highlights the risks involved in attempting to game digital platforms. Drake and 21 Savage, both household names with massive followings, found themselves under scrutiny, not just from fans, but from analytics experts, competitors, and even media outlets covering the music industry. The story rapidly became viral, with hashtags like #DrakeToOneBotFail and #StreamSgate trending across social platforms. Fans debated whether the artists themselves were directly involved or whether teams managing promotions had taken these measures independently in a misguided attempt to boost numbers. What made this situation even more controversial was the timing. The song was meant to compete with other high-profile releases, and the pressure to dominate charts was higher than ever. The supposed botting campaign seemed to backfire, reducing credibility for what was expected to be a seamless release. Industry insiders speculate that this incident could affect future releases, with labels and artists needing to tread carefully to maintain legitimacy in an era where streaming numbers often dictate perceived success, beyond the technical and numerical aspects. The incident sparked ethical debates about authenticity in music. Are the pressures to remain at the top of streaming charts driving even major artists to explore controversial tactics? What are the consequences when such methods are exposed? For fans and critics, the situation served as a cautionary tale, demonstrating that even the biggest names in music are not immune to scrutiny, and that public perception can shift dramatically with a single revelation. In conclusion, the story surrounding Drake and 21 Savage's latest song serves as a reminder that the music industry is not just about talent hits, also a numbers game. And attempts to manipulate those numbers can backfire spectacularly as fans continue to dissect streams, analyze patterns, and debate authenticity. One thing is clear: the fallout from this alleged bot scandal has captured the attention of the entire music world, leaving everyone wondering what the next chapter will bring as the story unfolded. The music world found itself dissecting every possible angle of the alleged bot fiasco. Industry insiders began weighing in, offering insights into just how common or uncommon such tactics are among top-tier artists. While streaming manipulation has always existed in various forms, the scale reportedly linked to Drake and 21 Savage appeared unusually large. prompting questions about the lengths major labels and management teams might go to secure chart dominance. The incident sparked a broader debate about ethics, authenticity, and the immense pressure placed on artists in today's streaming-driven economy. One of the most shocking revelations came from anonymous sources within the promotional teams. According to these sources, the strategy was meticulously planned to simulate organic engagement. Bots were programmed to mimic real listeners, alternating between active hours, using varying IP addresses, and even simulating playlist additions. The goal was to create a veneer of natural growth, so convincing that even industry analytics tools would initially be fooled. However, the sophistication of the operation could not mask subtle inconsistencies. Analysts noticed that while plays were increasing at unprecedented rates, engagement metrics like shares, comments, and playlist saves remained relatively stagnant. The disconnect was clear. The numbers looked impressive, but the depth of genuine listener interaction simply wasn't there. Social media platforms quickly became the battleground for fans debating the controversy. On Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram, heated discussions broke out. Hashtags like #BotGate, #DrakeFail, and number 21 Savage streams dominated trending topics as fans posted screenshots and compiled data showing suspicious listening patterns. Some defended the artists, arguing that in a world where algorithms dictate fame, almost every major label artist manipulates numbers in some way. Others condemned the practice, claiming that such tactics undermine the integrity of music charts and erode trust between fans and their favorite artists. The argument spilled over into music forums and YouTube comment sections, where influencers dissected the song's streaming trends frame by frame, drawing attention to the most anomalous data points. Meanwhile, streaming platforms themselves reportedly took notice. Sources claim that Spotify, Apple Music, and other major services have automated systems that flag unusual patterns, including repetitive plays from similar accounts, abnormal geographic distribution of listeners, and accounts with limited history engaging in repeated streaming. In this case, early detection systems appeared to intervene, potentially limiting the song's reach despite the initial surge. This technical interference may explain why the track, despite a massive initial spike, ultimately failed to achieve the viral momentum expected from artists of Drake and 21 Savage's caliber. In some cases, streams generated by bots can even be discounted or removed entirely, which could have contributed to the underwhelming final numbers. The timing of this bot's controversy also added fuel to the fire. The song in question was positioned to compete with multiple high-profile releases from other major artists. In today's music landscape, chart positioning is not just about bragging rights, it can directly influence revenue. A perceived failure to dominate the charts could have financial consequences, particularly when millions of dollars in promotion and marketing budgets are at stake. Analysts noted that the pressure to succeed might explain why such risky tactics were allegedly attempted, though the backlash demonstrates the potential hazards of taking shortcuts in an era of heightened scrutiny, even beyond numbers and platforms. The incident cast a shadow on the reputations of both artists. Drake, long celebrated for his consistent chart-topping releases, faced questions about whether he or his team knowingly participated in such tactics. Similarly, 21 Savage, an artist known for authenticity and a strong connection with his fanbase, now faced intense speculation regarding his involvement. Public perception can be just as influential as streaming metrics in defining an artist's career, and the potential damage to credibility became a major talking point among fans, journalists, and industry insiders alike. Legal experts also chimed in, highlighting that while botting is often seen as a gray area in the music world, it could potentially attract scrutiny under certain circumstances. Platforms could enforce penalties, including removal of content or temporary suspensions. And advertisers or sponsors might reconsider partnerships if engagement is deemed artificially inflated, even if there are no direct legal consequences. The reputational risk alone can be significant, as fans increasingly demand transparency and honesty from their favorite artists as the story continued to develop. What became evident was that the incident was more than just a failed marketing tactic. It had become a cultural conversation about fairness, the pressures of the modern music industry, and the delicate balance between numbers and authenticity. Fans, analysts, and competitors alike would continue to dissect every move Drake and 21 Savage made in the aftermath, making this one of the most talked about controversies in recent music history. The lessons for the industry were clear. In a digital age where streaming dictates fame, the temptation to manipulate numbers can be strong, but the risks, when exposed, are even stronger. As the botting scandal continued to unravel, attention turned toward the mechanics behind the operation, revealing a surprisingly sophisticated network of automation and digital manipulation. Sources claim that the bots were not simple scripts, but rather complex programs capable of simulating real user behavior with uncanny precision. They could vary listening duration, switch between devices, mimic playlists' interactions, and even engage with other accounts to create the illusion of organic virality. According to industry insiders, these operations often involve layers of proxy servers, randomized IP addresses, and virtual machines to avoid detection by streaming platforms' monitoring systems. Yet, even with such technological sophistication, anomalies began to surface that could not be easily masked. Data analysts noticed a pattern. While total streams were initially skyrocketing, the distribution of engagement appeared unnatural. Certain geographic regions showed disproportionately high streaming activity without corresponding social media chatter or fan interactions. Even more telling was the timing of plays, despite a global launch. The bulk of streams occurred within narrow windows that suggested pre-programmed activity rather than real-time listener enthusiasm. These subtle inconsistencies eventually attracted scrutiny from both independent analysts and streaming platforms, highlighting that no digital camouflage is perfect. The controversy rapidly gained traction on social media, with fans, music journalists, and digital rights advocates weighing in. Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok exploded with debates dissecting the legitimacy of the streams. Screenshots of streaming dashboards and suspicious patterns circulated widely, fueling speculation and distrust. Some fans expressed shock that artists of Drake and 21 Savage's stature might resort to such measures, while others argued that manipulation of streams is not uncommon in the hyper-competitive streaming era. Nonetheless, the intensity of the online discourse made it clear that public perception could be as damaging as any technical repercussions. Memes and viral threads mocked the bot-assisted launch, while music forums debated the ethical implications of artificial chart boosts. Behind the scenes, insiders alleged tension within the artists' respective teams. Managers, marketing strategists, and record label executives reportedly debated whether to continue the bot strategy or attempt damage control once anomalies were detected. In high-stakes environments where millions of dollars hinge on first-week streaming numbers, such decisions can carry enormous weight. Internal communications allegedly reflected concern not just about the immediate chart impact, but also about long-term brand reputation, even if the bot campaign temporarily inflated numbers. The risk of exposure could tarnish credibility, a critical currency in today's music landscape. Industry experts noted that this episode underscores a broader trend in the digital music economy. The pressure to achieve chart dominance often pushes even top-tier artists into ethically ambiguous territory. Streaming platforms, social media metrics, And algorithm-driven recommendations have created an environment where perception and numbers are intertwined, making authentic audience engagement more important than ever. Yet, as this incident shows, the reliance on automation can backfire spectacularly, turning a well-planned promotional campaign into a public relations nightmare. The failed bot operation serves as a cautionary tale for labels, artists, and marketing teams, navigating the fine line between clever promotion and artificial manipulation. Legal analysts also chimed in, emphasizing that while botting itself may not constitute criminal activity, it occupies a gray area with potential consequences. Platforms may revoke streams, limit reach, or even penalize accounts associated with suspicious activity. Advertisers and sponsors increasingly monitor engagement authenticity, meaning artificial metrics could jeopardize lucrative deals. Beyond immediate financial implications, the broader concern is the erosion of trust between artists and their fanbase. For Drake and 21 Savage, maintaining authenticity has long been a cornerstone of their appeal. And this botting scandal threatened to undermine that perception in the eyes of millions. The fallout also sparked questions about competitive ethics in the music industry. Rivals and industry observers pointed out that if such tactics are used widely, it creates an uneven playing field where talent and creativity are overshadowed by digital engineering. Critics argued that chart rankings, once seen as a reflection of fan preference and cultural impact, risk becoming metrics manipulated by technology rather than audience enthusiasm. In this light, the incident prompted a larger discussion about transparency and fairness in the modern music ecosystem, raising important questions about the influence of artificial streaming on chart legitimacy. As investigations and analyses continued, the story began to take on a broader cultural significance. It highlighted the immense pressures placed on artists in the streaming era, where success is measured in numbers and algorithms, sometimes more than artistic merit. It also demonstrated how quickly fans and the public can detect inconsistencies, turning social media into a powerful watchdog. For Drake and 21 Savage, this episode served as a stark reminder that while digital tools can offer temporary advantages, they cannot replace genuine listener engagement. Authenticity, as much as innovation, remains a non-negotiable component of long-term success in the music industry. Ultimately, the bot controversy proved to be more than a failed promotional tactic. It was a cautionary tale about the complexities of fame, technology, and ethics in today's music world. Fans and analysts alike were left questioning how far artists might go to secure chart supremacy and what the implications are for the future of music consumption. In the end, the incident underscored a timeless truth: numbers alone cannot dictate credibility. And artificial manipulation may offer short-term gains, but carries long-term risks that even superstars like Drake and 21 Savage cannot ignore. As the story continued to unfold, more behind-the-scenes details began to surface, painting a picture of the meticulous planning that went into the bot operation and the eventual unraveling that exposed it. Sources within the music industry claim that the initial strategy was devised months before the song's release. Teams reportedly ran simulations to predict streaming numbers, testing different configurations of bots to create the illusion of organic engagement. Every possible variable was considered: time zones, playlist placements, device types, and even fan interaction patterns. The goal was to engineer a flawless launch week that could propel the track to the top of charts worldwide. However, despite their elaborate efforts, human oversight, or perhaps overconfidence, introduced critical errors that eventually drew attention to the artificial activity data. Analysts examining the song's performance noticed statistical anomalies that could not be ignored. While the song initially saw an impressive spike in streams, the distribution revealed an unnatural concentration in specific regions and accounts that had no previous history of activity. Digital forensic specialists highlighted that many of these accounts were likely dormant or recently created, used exclusively for the bot campaign. This kind of manipulation, they explained, creates detectable patterns that sophisticated monitoring algorithms can easily flag. The more elaborate the scheme, the more likely it is to leave traces that raise suspicion. Analysts argued that this miscalculation may have been the single biggest factor in the bot network's exposure. Public reaction intensified as screenshots and analyses began circulating online. Fans and industry watchers dissected the streaming data, comparing it with previous releases by both Drake and 21 Savage. The community quickly noticed discrepancies between expected fan behavior and the bot-driven metrics. Discussions on Twitter, Reddit, and Discord exploded with theories, accusations, and memes mocking the failed bot attempt. Critics questioned the ethics of artificially inflating streams, arguing that it undermines the integrity of charts and diminishes the value of genuine fan support. For a moment, it seemed that the scandal had overshadowed the song itself, shifting the narrative from musical achievement to controversy and digital deception. The exposure also sparked tension within the artists' teams. Insider reports suggested that managers and label executives engaged in heated debates about how to respond. Should they acknowledge the failure publicly and attempt to manage the PR fallout, or stay silent and hope the story would fade? Some argued for a controlled admission, emphasizing the importance of transparency in maintaining fan trust, while others feared that any acknowledgement would invite further scrutiny and criticism. Decisions made in these high-pressure moments could significantly impact both the artists' reputations and future opportunities, making every move a calculated risk. Legal experts began weighing in on the potential consequences. While botting itself may not constitute a criminal offense, it exists in a gray area that can attract sanctions from streaming platforms, contractual penalties, or even civil lawsuits from competitors. There is also the reputational cost to consider. Brands, sponsors, and collaborators increasingly value authenticity in digital engagement metrics, and any hint of manipulation could jeopardize lucrative deals. In this context, the failure of the bot campaign did more than fail to boost streams. It threatened to erode trust and credibility. Built over years, the failed bot operation also ignited broader industry discussions about fairness and competition. If top-tier artists with substantial resources resort to artificial stream inflation, it raises concerns about the level playing field for emerging talent. Independent artists who rely solely on organic growth may find themselves at a disadvantage. As streaming numbers increasingly dictate visibility, playlist placement, and revenue, critics argued that chart rankings should reflect genuine listener engagement, not digitally engineered metrics, calling for stricter oversight and more transparent reporting practices from streaming platforms in parallel. The scandal underscored the growing influence of social media and independent analysts in holding major artists accountable. The fact that fans could detect inconsistencies in the streams demonstrates the power of collective observation. Platforms like Twitter and TikTok act as real-time watchdogs, capable of amplifying irregularities and transforming technical anomalies into viral controversies. And that credibility remains a key asset that no amount of artificial manipulation can replace. The incident also highlighted the ethical dilemmas faced by artists and labels in the modern streaming era. The pressure to achieve high chart positions, dominate playlists, and maintain cultural relevance has never been greater. Yet the pursuit of these goals through artificial means can backfire, damaging relationships with fans and the broader music community. For Drake and 21 Savage, who have long cultivated a reputation for authenticity, the bot scandal served as a stark reminder that success in today's music landscape requires more than technical ingenuity, demands genuine connection with listeners. Ultimately, This failed bot operation became a cautionary tale for the entire industry. The digital world is also highly interconnected and transparent. Attempts to manipulate engagement can be quickly detected, amplified by social media, and scrutinized by both experts and fans. In the end, the story reinforced a simple yet powerful truth: authenticity. Fan trust and organic engagement cannot be manufactured, and any attempt to shortcut these elements carries significant risks as the fallout continued. The implications of the failed bot operation extended far beyond chart positions and public perception. Insiders revealed that several key executives involved in the campaign were facing intense internal scrutiny, with high-level meetings convened to determine accountability and next steps. For some, this was a career-defining moment. For others, it was a stark reminder of how high-pressure environments in the music industry can lead to risky decisions. One source claimed that the plan had initially been praised for its technical ingenuity, but as anomalies became public, praise quickly turned to blame. The room that once celebrated innovation now had to grapple with reputational damage and potential contractual consequences. The artists themselves were reportedly shaken by the exposure. While both Drake and 21 Savage have navigated controversies before, this particular incident struck a unique chord because it directly called into question their authenticity. Fans who had long prided themselves on feeling connected to the music and the artists now wondered if their loyalty had been manipulated. Even casual listeners were not immune. Discussions on social media platforms showed that skepticism extended beyond hardcore fans. Comment sections across Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter were flooded with theories, criticisms, and debates over the ethics of artificially inflating streams. The conversation had shifted. It was no longer just about music. It was about integrity. Music critics also weighed in, dissecting how botting could influence not only metrics, but the creative ecosystem as a whole. Many argued that artificially inflated streams distort industry perceptions. From which artists receive awards to which tracks get prime playlist spots. In effect, a single bot campaign could ripple through multiple facets of the music business, giving the illusion of popularity while potentially overshadowing other deserving artists. Analysts warned that if such practices became normalized, they could erode public trust in streaming platforms and make it increasingly difficult to evaluate genuine talent. This was not just a scandal, it was a signal of a growing systemic challenge. Meanwhile, competitors in the industry were quietly observing the situation with a mix of curiosity and caution. Independent artists, in particular, expressed concern that manipulative practices like these could raise the bar unfairly, making organic growth harder to achieve. Conversations in forums and private industry circles revealed a growing demand for transparency and stricter monitoring by platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. Some executives proposed new algorithms designed to flag suspicious streaming activity automatically, while others advocated for clearer penalties to disincentivize attempts at artificial engagement. The debate highlighted a critical tension: innovation in marketing versus the ethics of fair competition. From a technical perspective, experts were fascinated by the sophistication of the bot network that had been deployed. Using varied devices, IP addresses, and listening patterns. Yet, despite this complexity, even the most advanced digital manipulation leaves traces that can be detected by analytical tools. The exposure of this particular campaign was proof that no system, however advanced, is infallible. The lesson for the music industry was clear: technological prowess alone cannot substitute for genuine listener engagement, and attempts to shortcut the system are increasingly likely to backfire in the aftermath. The conversation also turned to the long-term impact on both artists' reputations. While immediate backlash dominated headlines, experts emphasized that rebuilding credibility would be crucial. Both Drake and 21 Savage have strong fan bases. But trust, once questioned, can take time and consistent effort to restore. Public statements, collaborations, and future releases will all be evaluated in light of the scandal. Then a failed marketing tactic became a defining moment that would shape public perception and influence industry relationships moving forward. The episode also prompted deeper reflection within the industry about ethics in the digital era. Streaming platforms provide unprecedented access and reach, but the pressure to perform and dominate metrics creates temptation to manipulate results. The failed bot campaign demonstrated both the potential rewards and the significant risks of such strategies. For emerging artists, it serves as a cautionary tale. For established artists, a reminder that resources do not guarantee immunity from scrutiny. In the end, integrity, transparency, and authentic engagement remain the cornerstones of sustainable success. Ultimately, the incident left a lasting imprint on the music community. It underscored the need for vigilance, accountability, and honesty in an era where digital metrics often define perception. Fans, critics, and industry professionals alike now see that no amount of artificial manipulation can replace genuine connection. For Drake, 21 Savage, and all artists navigating the modern landscape, authenticity is no longer optional, it's essential. If you want the realest updates in the rap world, you can't afford to miss what's happening with Drake, 21 Savage, and the fallout from this shocking bot scandal. From inside details on failed strategies to expert analysis on how this changes the game for streaming and chart dominance, we've got it all covered. Fans are talking, critics are analyzing, and the music industry is watching closely. But you get the full story first. Don't just scroll past the headlines, stay informed, stay connected, and understand the real impact behind the news everyone is buzzing about. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and make sure you're part of the conversation. Every new twist, every insider reveal, every reaction from the artists themselves will be breaking right here. Stay tuned, because this saga is far from over.